Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscription button. If you do not hit the subscription button, then you're admitting to having a very small shit on nerd. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, as glamorous as my 3 heavy turrets may be, it took me so fucking long to get to here on day 1. I think I played for like 18 hours straight. But we're here, on the beach, naked, and we're punching some fucking trees, and we're getting some stone, and we're getting some fiber, and all the things to get started. Let's fucking do this. Alright, so after doing a little bit of research, I figured the first thing I want to do is get something simple up, close to a bit of metal, and near maewings. Maewings are literally the best starter dino in this game. They're amazing. Alright, let's get this shit done. Give me that hard, bitch. Yeah, we gotta kill something bigger, I think. This thing took me so long to fucking kill.
Very nice.
So at the moment, I'm doing anything I can to get myself a maewing. Now I'm gonna need wooden sides, I'm gonna need some metal. I'm gonna need some narcotics. I'm gonna need a crossbow, some trank darts, and a saddle so I can ride that bitch. Alright, so I headed off to go and try and find myself a maewing. And I was running through the woods. And I kept on running. And then I finally hit snow. And I did some more running. And I found a bunch of pellets on the way that I just had to grab. And after running around for about 20 minutes, I finally found myself a maewing. So I trapped him up as best as I could, hoping that he wouldn't be able to escape, and I knocked that bitch out.
Nice.
Gave him some food and got him tamed up. But before I could get to my maewing, I had some Trudon trouble that I had to deal with. Fucking bitch! And just like that, my entire arc experience just became so much easier. So now that I had my maewing, I decided to go and gather a bunch more resources so I could expand my base. Now, the only reason why I'm expanding this base is just so I can hide my maewing. So I decided to make it a bit taller and put a giant hatch frame on the roof. That way I could just drop my maewing straight up through the roof and hide him away safely. So now that I have my maewing nice and secure, especially when it was unattended, I decided to go out and get a bit more metal and some things that I'm going to need to get the cave set up that I want to build in. Alright, so I pretty much crafted everything I need, and I'm just going to rebuild everything into the new cave. So we're heading out there now. It's going to be epic. Let's get this done. So here we are at the cave, and this is the entrance. Now it goes into this little water part and you come up and out. So I think it's a really good starter base. It's nothing you can really run, especially if you get a few turrets there. You're going to need a dino to be able to do anything. You can't just run the turrets. That's why I'm choosing to build in this place to start off. Now, as you can see, there's a bunch of stone shit everywhere, so it's time to get this place cleaned up. Now, I could get rid of all the stone with my maewing using its little slide effect, but I used lots of this stone to get forges, foundations, and other stuff crafted to build my base. Alright, so here we are. The base is looking pretty nice. Unfortunately, I didn't have the footage of me actually building it. Sometimes my footage corrupts. It's really annoying. But we're placing down some beds, some storages, and then we're going to head out and get some metal. Now, lucky enough for me, there was heaps of metal just on a mountain right next to me. Well, when I say heaps, heaps for a good starter base. So let's get smacking that metal. Now let's cook it all up so I can get some tools and everything I'm going to need to start getting some better dinos. But before I started taming any dinos, I decided to get a Fabi and stuff made up. So I headed out to get some oil.
Yoink.
And on my way home, I found a bunch of penguins. So I decided to shoot them in the face, but my arrows weren't working. So I had to shoot them in the body. And then I beat them up with my bat and got some poly. Ooh, bars. But I didn't actually get poly because I wasn't using the bat. So I had to make a bat real quick. And then I tried again. And I got poly. So after beating a bunch of penguins, I decided to head back to base and start crafting some things. Alright, so I got back to my base and I crafted a Fabi, and then I started throwing everything into the Fabi that I'm going to need so I can craft up some turrets and some generators and some cables so I can have some turrets so they can shoot the people if they try to raid my base. So at this point, shit was getting pretty real. We've had no interruptions, everything's been running smooth, and we're about to have our first set of turrets up. But before I could make the turrets, I realized I needed more electronics. To get electronics, we went for a swim in the ocean to get some pearls. Now, as I was out getting pearls, I also planned to get myself some cryopods made up because I wanted to start taming a few more dinos just in case my maewing were to die. If my maewing were to die right now, I'd literally be fucked. And when I got back to base, I crafted up my turret and I started placing down all my electric cables. Now, my stupid ass had no idea how these flexible cables work because I've never used them before. So here I am trying to place an outlet on a flexible cable like an absolute fucking moron.
Use flexible cables to go wherever you want. No limit.
A shout out to this guy you can hear in the background. I'm watching his video on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below so you can go and check out that too if you have no idea what you're fucking doing just like me. But after watching this video, I finally got all my cables down. I got my outlet placed, got my generator turned on, my turret down, and shit is very great, yes!
High five. Great.
So I immediately made another turret and then started getting everything prepared so I can turn my turrets into heavy turrets. But while I was waiting for metal to cook and other things to craft, I headed on out to get myself another maewing. Now, unfortunately, my stupid ass forgot to record earlier and I completely missed the whole taming of the maewing thing. But as you can see here, I did tame another maewing. Yes. Now, for me to be able to start making more turrets, etc., I needed poly, and I couldn't be bothered going around beating up penguins for poly. It was just too exhausting. I hate doing it. So I headed out to the mini bee-boss cave in hopes to get some poly. Now, unfortunately, when I got there, the alphas had blocked off the cave, of course.
You motherfucker.
So with the knowledge I had at this point, the only other real way for me to get poly was in that crouch poly cave. Now, at this point, I didn't know how good these bats were, the Desmoduses. I didn't know that they were any good. I didn't really know that they could fly in caves. I didn't know much about them at all. I didn't really do a whole lot of research. So my dumb ass instead went out and tamed a megatherium so I could run through that crouch poly cave and kill the shit in there. So here we go. I'm getting everything ready. I'm getting all the tranks. I'm getting some gates set up and everything I can to trap a megatherium and tame that bitch. But this was absolute fucking hell. Trying to trap one of these things is the hardest thing in this fucking game because they barely fit and they're just stupid. So here, enjoy me running around trying to trap a megatherium. It wasn't fun at all. So obviously this wasn't working. I need to figure out a new strategy. So I decided to go on foot. I also ripped down the old trap to try and trap it in a different way, but I don't even want to show you guys the way I tried to trap it because it's absolutely embarrassing. But here we go. I'm on foot. I'm shooting this bitch. Let's get it done. And after an epic battle, I finally got him. Well, at least I thought I did. But this motherfucker like King Kong, he climbed the fuck out of there and started chasing me again.
What the fuck?
And then after escaping, he ran away like a little bitch. And this shit was just really starting to annoy me at this point. I'd already been out here for like 20 minutes just trying to trap. Maybe even longer. I don't even know. I've died like 6 times to the cold out here. So with very minimal health, after trying about 100 times, I finally got that bitch trapped. We fucking knocked him out, we tamed him up, and that's that. Let's never talk about it again. Alright, now back to focusing on getting these heavy turrets made. First thing I needed to do was go out and get some cementing paste. Paste confirmed. Then I had to go out and get some more metal so the metal would be ready for when I got back from my awesome poly run. I got a little bit of metal. It's time to go back to the base, chuck it inside those forges, and then we're gonna head out and get some poly. Poly time, motherfucker. Alright, so it was a bit of an epic battle to get to the poly, and then when I arrived at the poly, I noticed a tech generator buzzing through the wall. And at this point, I was like, fuck me, dude. I cannot get anything on this fucking server. But then I realized they didn't have turrets on the side of the wall, so I was happy. And I was free to get poly as I pleased. And now that I was all polyed up, I decided to head back to the base and craft up my heavy turrets. But when I got back to the base, I realized I needed bullets. And to craft bullets inside of a mortar and pestle is disgusting. I'm not doing it. So I made a chem bench first instead. Placed that bitch down, grabbed the charcoal, crafted some gunpowder so I could make a little bit of bullets for my turrets. Okay, so whilst I was doing all this, I had in the back of my mind that I needed to get an RG and an Anky at some point. Going around hitting metal rocks with a pickaxe is not fun at all. So I decided to craft some narcotics to get out there and buy myself an RG. Ooh, 140 RG, let's go. So I placed down my trap, lured him on in and got him knocked out. So after knocking out the RG, I decided to fly home, and on my way I found a 145 snow owl. Now the snow owl was like orange and cool looking, so I just couldn't help myself. I had to tame it as well. Sleepy time. Then I went back to the base to grab the mutton that I had killed a sheep for earlier. Jammed that shit inside of the RG. Now I knew the RG was still going to take a little bit, so I went up to the owl to feed him too. There were some pigs gathered around the trap, so I had to lure them away first. Now I can feed my owl. And because owls drain food so quickly, that shit was tamed up almost instantly. Very nice. Shortly after, my RG was all finished as well, so I went to cry her up and bring her home. So I decided to take the RG out to get an XP note just for some extra levels, and I ended up finding a 145 Anky on the way home. Let's go, baby. So I picked her up, brought her back to my base, and I started tranking her out so she would actually follow me inside of my cave so I could knock it out deep inside of my cave. That way I don't have to worry about any predators trying to eat it while it's unconscious.
This is big brain time.
And finally, my Anky was snoozing comfortably next to the fires, but when I looked at the melee, I was like, bleh! What the fuck is that? But it's better than using a pick, and I couldn't be bothered knocking another one out, so I just tamed it anyway. Now onto the fun part. It was mentally preparing myself to go and get an anglerfish. But then I remembered that anglers actually spawn close to the shore on this map, which is really weird, but I'm not going to complain. So I grabbed everything I needed, headed on out to tame an anglerfish. Now, finding an anglerfish, that was easy. What was not easy was trying to dodge those stupid little scorpion swimmy things.
Fuck you!
And on top of that, we've got little jellyfish swimming around trying to fucking zap me, so it was hell. And I bet you're all sitting there thinking, well, why didn't you just go up on the beach and knock it out? It's so close to the shore.
Hello, motherfucker.
Well, motherfucker, I tried that and I got knocked out because the stupid little scorpion came swimming up out the ocean and smacked my toes. But we won't show that because that's just embarrassing and it never happened, alright? But what I will show is me beating this one's ass. Anyways, back to knocking out the anglerfish. Now I was sitting there, I was staring at it. I was like, watch it fall asleep as soon as I shoot. Like, come on, man. I fucking hate it here. Anyways, we got him tamed, cried him up, and then I headed out to get some pearls so I could finally make those turrets that I've been meaning to make literally all day. I am just so glad that no one fucked with me for hours. At this point, I've been playing the game for like 16 hours. I was so exhausted. So after a productive pearl run, I grabbed my pearls, headed on home, started crafting up some electronics, checked on the Anky, which I literally completely forgot about. Luckily, I pumped in some narcos when I first knocked it out, otherwise it would probably be awake by now. So now that the Anky was finally done, I decided to head out and get some stone and flint so I could craft up some spark powder so I could make some bullets. But as soon as I got out there, they decided it was time for a server update, of course. So I schmacked out as much flint and stone as I possibly could and got home, transferred it all into the chem bench and started crafting up some spark powder. Nice. So as soon as I got back into the game after the update, I decided to head out and get some metal so I would have a juicy load of ingots ready for me when I get up in the morning. Alright, so after my first successful metal run with the Anky and the RG, I decided to head back to base and chuck it in the forges. When I chucked it in the forges, I realized that I had no wood, so let's get some wood. Alright, so the wood is in, the metal is cooking, everything's looking good. Now it was time to craft the turrets that I've been meaning to craft all goddamn day. Place these turrets, put the bullets in them, and then I'm going to bed because I am exhausted. Alright guys, so that concludes day 1 of my solo Ark official PvP experience. Guys, I edited this video like crazy. It took me so long to do it. If you like the edits, please let me know in the comment section, because if not, I feel like I'm going to take a step back and not edit so much and not go too crazy with it because it is so time consuming. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. Much love. I'll see you in episode 2. Peace.